It's Sims and the Mad Dog. Take it away, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Rena. With Phil, let's go through a couple things, Philip. Let's start with the game. We've gone through this a million times.
I bet you have.
Pittsburgh should have won this game anyway. Let's first talk about the sequence late in the fourth quarter. You could make the argument that you should have done it. 4th and 1. He's nursing a 24-19 lead. He's got the ball at his own 28-yard line. A first down there, and the game is probably over. He's got Le'Veon Bell, and Tomlin punts. What's your take on that decision first?
Punt the football. Yep, that's what you do. You don't take a chance. 4th and 1. If he's going to make it, he'd have to throw it because that's what good teams do. I see it every week. Teams get in that situation. 3rd and 2 yards. If we get it, we win the game. I can just – they're on the top of my head. I can save all of them. But they're gonna if they run the ball, they will not make it. And if they'd have ran the ball at 4th and 1 in that situation, New England would have stopped them at worst for no gain, probably loss of yards, because they would have sold out and dared Pittsburgh to throw the ball.
All right, that's number one. Number two, before we get to the pass play,
sure, I
had a major problem with the second down completion. I don't understand. If you're going to complete a pass in that sequence,
got caught. You got to just live with it. You know, it's a chess match out there. New England's never done that defense probably all year long, and so they call a play that they think would. New England is famous, and it's right out of the book. When you get inside the 20 and especially the 10-yard line, they are going to double cover what they perceive to be your two best weapons on offense. So that's what Pittsburgh was expecting. So they call a play to beat that defense, and New England all out blitzed them. And Ben Roethlisberger had no choice to throw it, get rid of it, or take the sack. So New England won the chess match there. That's the way I looked at it.
All right, so that was not a Pittsburgh error. I learned something.
No, it was not an error. Definitely not.
All right, I learned something there. That's number two. Number three, you want to blame it on Haley and Tomlin because it seems like Roethlisberger wanted to clock it, and then they said run a play. They're obviously talking through his headset and his helmet, and they seem to be a little discombobulated. That's Eli Jacobs you're running a slant to. That's not exactly Antonio Brown. Analyze that last play on third down. Go ahead.
Well, first off, okay, a lot of elements there. During that long, lengthy, let's look, the catch, no catch, why wasn't that plan mapped out? When you look up at the scoreboard, everybody had to know right away, Ben Roethlisberger, the coaches, that it was going to be ruled incomplete. So you should have been over there getting your what we're going to do, your game plan ready for these next couple plays. And I don't know why. So when Ben is on the field, it's clear, because we saw it at Showtime, we had the NFL films, it's everywhere now, that Tomlin, says, run another play. And just that communication, Ben is trying to clock it, so it must not have been talked about on the sideline before he went out there, and now he's getting information in his helmet, and I could see where it's so hectic, and he did not get another play communicated to the guys. He did say clock it, that is as plain as day. And only one person moved when the ball was snapped, and that was Eli Rogers, because he kind of caught eye contact with Ben Roethlisberger, and he ran a slant, not even a good one, and it had no chance of getting open. And then you just got to go, hey, Ben Roethlisberger, he decided to try to make that throw, and there was no chance.
All right, whose fault is it overall? Is it a combination quarterback and coach? Whose fault is it that they threw that interception?
Well, it's interesting. I thought Mike Tomlin's directions were clear and concise, so the communication between Todd Haley and Ben Roethlisberger was not good enough for that situation. Chris, you work on those scenarios from day one of training camp. Do you hear me?
I do.
We're going to get a first down. We got 20 seconds. We throw the ball. It's completed. Get off the field. Field goal run on. Kick a field goal. Whatever. These type of situations are worked on by every team in the league all the time. So it shouldn't have caught him that way. But I think the fact that Ben Roethlisberger yelled, I've watched it many times, clock it, and that wasn't the old Dan Marino fake spike. They got caught. And so then he doubled down and then tried to make a throw that was not there. and Eric Rowe knocked it up in the air, and we know the interception. So,
all right, let's look at the big picture here. Despite the fact the Patriots escaped, and Gronkowski bailed him out, I still saw some things I didn't like. I thought Brady was a little shaky. It was a bad interception. They obviously let Pittsburgh go right down the field, and I thought Pittsburgh really, for the most part, was the better team.
I agree.
For 57 minutes. So I'm a little worried right now. Now they probably get the home field. They'll probably win these last 2 games. But I'm a little worried right now about New England. They look a little more vulnerable this late in the year than I've seen them in the past. Phil, what's your take on that?
They are. I'll try to be quick with these things. They are. One, their offensive line, that is true. Tom Brady is getting pressured, especially over these last couple of weeks, these last 3 weeks. Buffalo started it. They pressured him, I thought, pretty well. And you look at that game, it was Rob Gronkowski. I think he had 9 catches for big yardage against Buffalo. So the offensive line is not as stable as they would like. They don't have what I call a true man-to-man beater at wide receiver. I know Brandon Cooks is fast, but he's not like Antonio Brown where he runs every route that you can possibly think of. He's not that type of receiver. And Gronkowski, if they didn't have him in the lineup, they would have had no chance against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, so you got that. Rob Gronkowski, which is amazing. It is like clockwork. I even talked about it on the NFL Today. Pittsburgh, when they get in certain parts of the field, they are going to throw a seam pass to Rob Gronkowski. It's their number 1 play by far, and they did it 6 times. Wow. That game. 6.
And how many did they complete?
4 for big yards. And they got it. Hey, so Tom Brady, actually, on one of them, he just dropped back, and he was going to throw it to Rob Gronkowski no matter what happened. He looked one way, turned, and threw his best pass of the day, the second seam. He crushed it right down the middle of the field, and there was a safety, Mike Mitchell, standing in the middle of the field. But he got the ball there so quick. Mitchell was playing a little too deep, trying to be safe. Well, we saw the catch, and there you go. But the other thing is, Pittsburgh did some different stuff on defense. I think that's why it made Tom Brady look a little shaky at times. So going forward, to me, Pittsburgh can travel and still play that same type of game. If it was the other way around, if New England had to go back to Pittsburgh, surely the Steelers will come up with a different plan on how to handle Rob Gronkowski next time around.
Well, before we take a break and get your calls in, does Buffalo have a chance there this week, or are the Patriots going to rebound and beat the Bills to make sure they get home field?
Well, let's think about it. The Patriots went to Miami. That was physical. Man, they got really beat up. And they go to Pittsburgh, emotional. They find a way. They win the game and all that. Now they come and play Buffalo, a team that's motivated and a team that can truly physically and mentally play 60 minutes. And there's not many of them in the league that can do that. And again, another big part of New England's defense, I tell people this all the time. Did you notice that Le'Veon Bell actually ran the ball against this New England defense? Did he do that last year in the AFC Championship game?
No, he did not.
No.
He did not.
Alan Branch, and I said it on the pre, not to go back and give myself credit. I said, Alan Branch is as wide as this table. There's a reason why teams struggle running the ball against the Patriots, because he engulfs, the center and the 2 guards, and now you got to run it outside. And they're not as good outside this year stopping the run, but they're still good enough. So that's a big deal. And Alan Branch is out this week. It would not shock me to see this Buffalo game be close and extremely competitive.
Wow, look at that. Phil Sharp today. All right, let's get some calls in a sec. We'll take a break first. Nobody wants to hear today about the future of the Arizona Cardinals. So let's make sure we break down the teams that are important. You want to thought about a Jacksonville 49er game. Got a lot of important games here. Patriots, Steelers, Foles, whatever. But let's keep an eye. I'm not worried about Marvin Lewis yet. We got all year to do that with Phil. Bye week and everything else. Let's center on the important games for Sunday. We'll do that with you guys in a sec with Phil here on Mad Dog Unleashed.